collaboration that's being hosted by Texas Country Wife. The theme is apples, so we're going to be doing a couple of different apple recipes. It's an open collaboration. Everybody's welcome to join. I think it runs until November 30th. I will leave a link in the description box that describes the details if you're interested in joining. But today I'm going to be keeping it kind of simple. It's the week before Thanksgiving, but I'm going to be doing two delicious recipes. The first one, I'm going to be making apple butter in the slow cooker, and I'm going to be making apple fruit leather on the dehydrator out of applesauce. So stay tuned. So first we're going to start with the apple butter, and I want to explain the difference between apple butter and applesauce. Apple butter is richer and it's thicker. Applesauce is kind of runnier, but apple butter is smoother. You'll usually put it in an emulsion blender to make it smooth, and it's richer and darker in color because you add different seasonings to it. The things that kind of set it apart is nutmeg and cloves. With applesauce, you typically just use some cinnamon and brown sugar. But we're going to start with a 3-pound bag of apples. You can use whatever variety you want. And then we're just going to chop them up and put them in the slow cooker. So I'm going to use my nifty little chopper here. These are supposed to already be pre-washed. Whoops. Okay, there we go. So I'm just going to do this with all the apples, and I'll be right back in a second. You're welcome to use either the regular brown sugar, or I'm going to use the dark brown sugar because we are making apple butter. I kind of want it to have a deeper flavor. So you're going to want to pack about half a cup. Okay. You can use a little bit more. You just kind of adjust it to your taste. To me, the apples are already sweet enough on their own, so we're just going to do a half. You can do anywhere from a half to a quarter. I'm going to use pumpkin pie spice because I can't find our cloves or our nutmeg. This has nutmeg in it. It also has some allspice. And I'm just going to eyeball it and kind of do probably close to, I don't know, I'd say that's about a teaspoon. And then you want to do about a tablespoon of the cinnamon. Again, just eyeball it. You can add more or less as you go. And then you want to just add a dash of salt. And we're going to put this on low for about 8 to 10 hours. You can just eyeball it. It's going to make your house smell amazing. And again, you're better off adding less of something because you can always go back and add more. So we will be back shortly and see how it's going.
So we're just going to put some store-bought applesauce on to make the leather this time around. I went ahead and pre-oiled the trays. We use these trays for the fruit leather. So just kind of pour it on there.
Yeah, just blotting it with oil is pretty important because we made the fruit leather before, and although it came off, it didn't come off like in one big piece, or, you know, it was kind of just all grated up, but it was still delicious. So this time we're using some trial and error. Just blotted a paper towel with some oil, dabbed it on those little silicone sheets there, and you just spread the applesauce on all the layers.
And then I'll do all this, finish up, and then we'll show you the time and temperature.
So for our dehydrator, it takes about a jar and a half, but you're going to have to play around. I know dehydrators come in different sizes. The jars come in different sizes. So for us, it takes about a jar and a half. We're using, did we get this from Costco or Aldi? Costco, the Honey Crisp applesauce, and that looks like 24 ounces. And just for a little extra flavor, we're sprinkling a little bit of cinnamon that's optional.
So we set the temp shut ours to 140 degrees, and then I'm gonna set it for 7 hours. It says between 6 and 8, so we'll set it for 7, and I'll check it probably around 6 hours. I'll start to check it and then hit start.
Just to ensure that nothing got wasted, we've got our apple cores that we're putting in our compost bin.
This is a compost bin. We got the compost bin and the rain barrels from the city of Houston. They're doing a project about, you know, conserving water, and since our water is so expensive. And then just took the downspout off, fills both barrels up. I got to raise the barrels up. Didn't really have time. I was in a hurry to put them up so we can get some water initially. But once I use all this water, then I'll raise everything up. So thanks.
Progress update on the apples. It's been a few hours, and I'm just coming in mashing them up, and we will come back shortly to emulsify it, if that's an actual word. And I forgot to say, you do not need to peel the skins. It's actually more healthy if you leave the skins on. There's a lot of nutrients in those, and you don't need to add water. But I think I left out in the previous step, when you add all the spices, be sure to give it a good mix. Just stir it up before you set the lid on. So we will be back shortly. We did lose power briefly, so we had to reset this, and we didn't know how long it was going. So we're just going to have to play it by ear. Be back shortly.
Okay, so we ended up going about 8 hours on this. So just gonna kind of take the trays off, and then it should just go right off. Still a little warm, so I'm just gonna set it on this plate, and until it cools down, and then we'll stick it in a baggie, individual baggies or one big baggie, whatever we want to do.
And if you're wanting to store it for longer term and make it a little more fancy and pretty like a fruit roll-up, you can probably lay this out on parchment paper and then kind of just roll it up and unroll it when you're ready to eat it. We eat this pretty quick, so it doesn't last long. We just put it in a Ziploc bag and call it a day.
Alright, so it's good. I like that we add the cinnamon. Makes it a lot better.
So we let this go about 8 hours, I would say, and as y'all saw previously, I kind of mashed it down, and now we're ready to do the last step, which is to emulsify it. Oh yeah. You want to get it all nice and smooth. Again, that's what makes it different, apple butter from applesauce, is to just get it really, really smooth. Now it's still hot, so I'm going to let it cool off a bit, and then I'll be back shortly for the taste test. Okay, so this is the consistency you want it to be. We've let it cool off a little bit. Let me do a taste test. It's really good. Love it. That will be great on some toast in the morning. And we repurposed the jars that we made the fruit leather with, the applesauce. We're going to turn around and put our apple butter in these jars. So I have one more taste test we need to do.
Okay, let's see what it tastes like. Very good. Great flavor.
We hope you give this apple butter and this fruit leather a try. Have a great evening.